this is not a full assembly guide, but an assembly helper for the SillyPistol. First off, you're going to make your plunger assembly. You take your plunger rod, it has that large nubbin on the back. You want the catch tooth, the giant cutout area of it, which you can see in between the spring there, to be facing up. You also want the sights on this back piece to be facing up. You put this piece, the catch, which is that orange piece, this piece, and the spring over the rod in that order, and make sure that this rod has that tooth facing up and this back sight has it up. Then you attach the plunger head with 2 screws in from the front and then 2 screws in from the sides. Then you basically have this assembly right here. At that point, you will screw in this top blue piece, or this top strap, with 1 screw there, 1 screw there. You will then take your grip panels. I lied. You won't take your grip panels yet. You'll take your back strap and you'll screw it into this white piece. Back strap goes right there. With 1 screw right there, which you can see. Once that's on, then you can add on your grip panels with 3 screws on each side. Take your trigger, line it up with this hole right here, put the pin through it so it pivots on the pin. You can then attach your trigger guard with this screw right here and 1 on the opposite side. And you can attach your grip with 1 screw here and 1 on the opposite side. Then you have this assembly. Take your plunger tube, put your plunger tube on the thing. Goes over this lip back here, which is used to keep it centered. At this point, you can make sure that it's catching. Mine is catching. In between all of that, oh no, the plunger tube, oh no. In between all of that, I ran an elastic from the catch. I tied a knot on the end of the elastic. I put one end through the catch so the knot is on the top of that hole, so it's in the same hole that the rod goes through. There's a little cavity for the knot in the elastic to get out of the way of the rod. It then goes through the arm on the back of the trigger, and it goes through the grip. Down here, this is a slightly older version, but you can see there's a knot there, which keeps the elastic in place. And then that gives it the springiness to have it actually catch and return the trigger. At this point, you have your plunger tube on. You have all of your springs and slide and crap assembled. You have your elastic in place. You have your trigger pivoting. You want to make sure that the pivot pin is not falling out, because at this point it is not held in place by anything other than friction. You will then take your top slide, which you have attached your ram to. You have added the O-ring to the ram. The ram is held in place by these 2 screws, which you are putting in via a screwdriver in through these holes in the top. 1 screw there, 1 screw there. Make sure that those screws are set nice and tightly in there so they are not protruding out of those holes. Because if they are protruding out of those holes, then they will rub against the plunger tube, which is bad. It will scratch it and it will make the prime crunchy. So, you have this, you have this. Make sure that the ram's on the front end. You put it on over that and over like that. It is now on there. You will then take your entire front assembly, which is made out of the 2 side panels, the turnaround, the muzzle, and the magwell. The magwell has that pin, basically behind the screw-ish, like right here-ish, into the turnaround to let it pivot. You will then put the side panels on with these 3 screws on each side. You can then put on your muzzle with the 1 screw, or 2 screws up top. Put on your barrel. So then you have this bit. You can see these 2 bits are open. You will take this assembly, basically, and you will slide the 2 arms over the 2 arms on the side of the, you'll slide these bits over these bits, like that. You might need some wiggling and some persuasion to stay on there, but that's what we're gonna do, in theory. Come on. There we go. Alright, so this is now on like that. You can prime it first to make that easier. You want to make sure your O-ring up here is going into the plunger tube. You want to make sure that your holes here and opposite side are lined up. You will then start putting in screws, one there, one there, one there, one there, and then don't forget the one up top on this bit. After that is all done, you will then deprime, and then you will put in the 4 screws on the back of the slide. Then you will have a fully functioning SillyPistol, hopefully.